They told you he was a thief. They told you the theft of fire was a desperate act by a dying god. They lied. The king of the gods didn't send a lightning bolt to destroy the fire. He knew that would only make Prometheus a martyr. Instead, he sent Kratos and Bia, power and force. They didn't come to kill, they came to collect a debt. They seized Prometheus at the very moment he was smiling at a human child. They dragged him away from the warmth, back into the freezing heights, toward a destination that had been prepared before the first man was even shaped from clay. The Caucasus Mountains are the jagged teeth of the world. There, where the wind screams like a dying god, they laid him out against the stone. Hephaestus was the one who had to do the work. The smith god, who had once been Prometheus's friend, wept as he brought down the hammer. The chains were not made of iron, they were made of adamantine, a substance that bonds to the soul as much as the flesh. With every strike of the hammer, the mountain itself seemed to groan. They drove a spike through his chest, pinning him to the rock. They shackled his wrists and his ankles until he was a living part of the cliffside. "Why?" Hephaestus whispered, his voice cracking over the sound of the wind. Prometheus looked at his old friend, his eyes burning brighter than the flame he had stolen. "I saw the fire," he said, "and I saw that it was worth the chains." Zeus appeared then, not as a man, but as a presence that filled the sky. He didn't mock Prometheus, he simply looked down at him with a cold, terrifying pity. "You gave them the fire," Zeus rumbled, "so I will give them the curse, and for you, I will give you the eagle." The eagle of Zeus is not a bird. It is a biological machine of torture, a creature that lives only to consume the immortal liver of a titan. Every morning it descends. Every night the liver grows back, fueled by the very immortality that Prometheus refused to surrender. But while Prometheus bled, Zeus was busy in his workshop. He was crafting a gift for humanity. He was crafting the woman who would carry a jar, and within that jar was the end of the Golden Age. We witness the arrival of Pandora. We see the opening of the box that unleashed sickness, war, and death upon the humans who had just learned to love the fire. And we see the final secret that Prometheus kept behind his teeth, the secret that made even the king of the gods tremble with fear. Don't look away. The jar is about to open.
They told you Pandora was an accident. They told you she was a curious woman who made a mistake with a box. They lied. Pandora was the first biological weapon in Greek mythology. She wasn't born. She was engineered by the king of the gods, Zeus, specifically to destroy the humanity that Prometheus had died to save. While the Titan was pinned to the Caucasus Mountains, his flesh being harvested by the eagle daily, the Olympians were in their laboratory crafting a gift that would turn the fire of progress into a funeral pyre. The theft of fire had a price, and that price wasn't just the chains or the adamantine spikes. It was the end of the Golden Age. Zeus knew he couldn't take the fire back, so he gave us the one thing that would make us regret having it: hope. Welcome to the final act of the Great Deception. We are at the end of the Prometheus saga. If you followed this journey from the Mechone trick to the forge of Hephaestus, hit that subscribe button now. We are exposing the dark side of the tragic villains, and our next series on Medusa is going to change everything you thought you knew about monsters. Zeus didn't just want to kill the humans, he wanted to break their spirit. He gathered the gods of Olympus for a final project. Hephaestus molded her from the same clay Prometheus had used, but he infused her with a divine shimmering hollow. Aphrodite gave her a beauty that was a trap. Hermes gave her a voice that was a lie. And Zeus gave her a jar. He didn't call it a box. It was a pithos, a massive storage jar sealed with a heavy lead lid. He told her never to open it. That was the final cruelty. He gave a creature designed for curiosity a secret she wasn't allowed to know. It was the same game he played with Prometheus, but this time the target was the heart of man. Pandora was sent to Epimetheus, the afterthinker, the brother of Prometheus. Prometheus had warned him, never accept a gift from the sky. But Epimetheus looked into Pandora's eyes and forgot the mountain. He forgot the blood. He forgot the warning. He opened his home to the Olympians, and in doing so, he pulled the pin on a grenade that had been live since the feast at Mecone. The day the world changed was silent. Pandora stood in the center of their home, the jar glowing in the afternoon light. She didn't open it out of malice. She opened it because the gods had built her to do it. When the lid cracked, there was no explosion. There was only a hiss, the sound of 1,000 snakes escaping into the grass. A thick gray mist began to pour from the jar. These were the children of night: sickness, old age, famine, war, greed, and despair. Before this moment, humans lived forever. We were strong, we were happy. But as the mist touched the skin of the first man, his joints began to ache, his hair turned white. He felt a hunger that couldn't be satisfied by meat. He felt a hatred for his neighbor. The fire that Prometheus had stolen was now being used to forge swords and shields. The gift of the Titan was being weaponized against his own creation. Pandora tried to slam the lid shut, but it was too late. The world was already infected. Only one thing remained at the very bottom of the jar: hope. Many call it a comfort, but in the cynical chronicler's view, hope was the cruelest curse of all. It was the thing that kept humans working, suffering, and dying, always believing that tomorrow would be better as the gods laughed from above. While the world was dying, Prometheus remained on his cliff. The eagle was his only companion, but Zeus wasn't satisfied. He descended to the mountain, the smell of ozone and sulfur following him. He leaned in close to the Titan's ear. He whispered, "Look at them. Look at your pets. They are dying. They are killing each other with your fire. Was it worth it?" Prometheus turned his head, his eyes hollow but defiant. He didn't answer with a plea for mercy. He answered with a threat. "You think you are the end of the story, Zeus, but I am the forethinker. I have seen the woman who will bear a son greater than his father. I know the name of the one who will cast you into the same abyss where the Titans rot." The sky turned black. Zeus's pride was his only weakness. He needed that secret. He offered Prometheus a seat on the council, an end to the torture, anything just for a name. Prometheus only laughed. The blood dripped onto the rocks, but for the first time, the king of the gods was the one who felt the cold. He realized that as long as Prometheus breathed, the throne of Olympus was built on sand. Prometheus would wait. He would wait for centuries. He would wait for the arrival of Heracles, the hero who would finally slay the eagle and break the adamantine chains. But the world he returned to wasn't the one he left. It was a world of shadow, of pain, and of hope. He had won the war, but he had lost the world. He remains the ultimate tragic villain, the one who did the right thing for the wrong reasons, and the one who had to watch his own children burn in the fire he provided. But Prometheus wasn't the only one the gods feared.
Deep in heart of a hidden temple, a woman was being cursed, not for a theft, but for her beauty. A woman whose gaze could turn a king to stone. In our next episode, we enter the lair of Medusa. Don't look her in the eye. The stone is permanent.